Greetings from Las Vegas. I'm Jeff Chain, the owner-broker of Millennium Commercial Properties. We've been here in the commercial real estate business in the greater Las Vegas area for over 40 years. I want to thank Simon for inviting me back to talk about a kind of a unique subject, big box retail. What that means is when you have a large shopping center or even some smaller shopping centers, typically you have the inline regular retail stores, then you'll have a couple medium or large boxes, which are former grocery stores, former department stores, things like that. Typically, the medium boxes are around 20,000 square feet, and the bigger boxes are anywhere from 40 to 80,000 feet. With the transition of what's happening in the real estate market through technology these days, there's a lot of challenge across the country in these big box spaces. There's lots of consolidation and lots of them just going out of business because that model is no longer viable in retail. What that's led to is an awful lot of vacant big boxes in shopping centers across the country. First, I'm going to point out some of the alternatives of what you can do with them. Then we'll look at some in California and talk about what potential opportunities may lie there. Some of the things that you can do, because trying to replace a big box tenant, I have one listed here in Las Vegas. It's a 42,000 foot former grocery store. The problem is most grocery stores today are 60 to 80,000 feet, so nobody wants to be in a 40,000 foot box. It's too big. It really should be subdivided down, which is one of the opportunities. This building should be subdivided into probably a 20,000 and 210s because there are tenants for that, but the current landlord has no interest in doing it, so it sits as a vacant 40,000 foot box. Some of the choices that are out there is community and cultural center. Great concept, not great for income producing for a landlord. Educational facilities. We do have a charter school. Looking at the big box listing I have, that's a good use for them. Health and wellness centers. They're again a pretty large space on mine and a lot of the ones we're going to talk about for doing that. Mixed use, which would be tearing part of it down, which we are looking at doing on my box there, and doing some retail and the rest multifamily, which is apartments for rent. Residential units, just plain tearing it down, or if the box is the right configuration, you can modify it with residential units. Indoor agriculture has been tried in a lot of cities, and it's a nice concept, but it's got a long ways to go before they can make it profitable. Entertainment and leisure, same thing. Technology is killing a lot of that. The days of the movie theater and other things are pretty much of the past. Logistics and storage facilities. Logistics facilities, it's very tough. Most of the big box retail are not inclined for industrial. Neighbors don't like them. Nobody else likes them. However, storage facility, we call self-storage or mini storage, is a great use for that. Some of the challenges with doing some of these different uses are when these large centers, if they have multiple big boxes, they have co-tenancy clauses, which means the big boxes came into the center because there was a supermarket. Now the supermarket's gone. They have leases in place on the other tenants that say, if we don't have a supermarket, we could walk away from the lease. That's always a problem. Where technology and innovation centers, that's a little difficult. First one we're going to talk about is in Victorville, California, which is a high desert halfway between Las Vegas and Los Angeles. It's a total of 86,000 feet. The center has a 43,000 foot vacant box. The whole center is available for $71 a foot, which equates to $6.15 million. There again, you'd have to get creative, but most of the prices we're going to talk about per square foot are between, and we're only in the Southwest, between $70 and about $150 a square foot, which is well below replacement cost. Back east in some of the older parts of the United States, you can find stuff for $5 and $10 a foot, but that reflects their current economic market and what you could potentially get for rent. The next one is in Cathedral City, California, which is a suburb of Palm Springs, actually right next door to Palm Springs. And this one is for $13,900,000, which is $111 per square foot. The next one we're going to talk about is Antelope Valley, California. And the reason I'm talking about California is because Nevada doesn't have any big boxes for sale that are vacant, and Arizona only has 4, but they're unpriced. So we don't know what they're asking. These are California are all ones that we do have pricing on. This is an Antelope Valley. It's a 57,790 square foot center on a major line. Its main retail pad that's vacant is 46,000 feet. So there is some inline retail associated with this, and it's $117 per square foot for a total of $6.8 million. Next one is Sacramento, California, which is California's capital. It's in the northern part of California. It is a single tenant, 41,300 square foot vacant building. There again, you have to get creative on what you're going to do with them. It's for $112 per foot for a total of $4.63 million. Some cases, we've had success here in Las Vegas and other markets where they've converted a big box into small swap meet spaces. We have one here in town that's an antique mall. They're very profitable, but very management intensive. But that is a possible use for some of these. The next one is in Corona, California, which is down in Southern California. It's a 55,000 foot vacant box. And their asking price is $180 a foot for $9.9 million. California commands certainly higher rents overall, but it has many more regulations on use of what you can do. The next one, we come back to Sacramento. There again, California's capital. And it is a 42,000 foot vacant former health club. That's another popular use, but there are a lot of health clubs that have come into business and gone out of business. It's a very competitive market, and that's what's happened here. It's 42,000 feet, health clubs out of business. It's $175 a foot for $7.35 million. The next one we're going to talk about is in Bishop, California, which is part of the high desert. And it is 105,729 square feet. So a very large center. It's completely vacant. It's $61 a foot, which is well below replacement cost. But there again, you have to have something to replace it with for a total of $6,490,000. The next one is in Fresno, California, Northern California. It's 43,310 square feet. There again, it's at a great location. However, it is vacant and would need somebody creative to either do alternate use or demise it down into smaller spaces. It's available for $150 a foot, which is $6.5 million. The next one we're going to talk about is Sacramento. As you can follow the theme, there's lots of vacant big boxes in Sacramento. Nobody's gotten around to figuring out what to do with a lot of them. It's 45,000 square feet. It's formerly a furniture mart. And while there's some great furniture stores across the country, typically in a shopping center, when you see a furniture user, they pay well below market rents. And that's kind of, if you see a furniture store or churches, you know, typically the landlord's desperate and will take anybody just to fill the space. It's available for $5.5 million, which is $121 a square foot. The next one is in Delano, California, another high desert, Northern California desert property. It's vacant. It's 55,000 feet. And it is, I'm sorry, they mess these up sometimes, $32 a foot, which kind of gives you what the general market is up there for a total of $1.8 million. Could somebody get creative at $31 a foot in California and make money? Absolutely, they could. The next one's in Victorville, California. It is an 86,600 square foot property. In Victorville, once again, is halfway between Las Vegas and Los Angeles. It's a former Kmart, and it's $118 a foot. And the last one we're going to talk about is back to Sacramento. It's 57,790 square feet on the bus line, and it is 42,000 feet, and they want $130 a foot. So hopefully that gives you some concept of what you can and cannot do. You need to get creative in these markets to come up with something that works. Feel free to give me a call, Jeff Chain. It's 702-379-8855. The same number works on WhatsApp, or certainly feel free to reach out to Simon. Thank you very much.